One moment, you're sitting at the anchor desk of America's most watched cable news network commanding millions of viewers and earning a seven-figure salary, to the next you're gone without a trace. No farewell, no explanation. Cold sentence from Fox News announcing they had parted ways with Kimberly Guilfoyle. For someone who built her entire career on being heard, the silence was deafening. What could drive a network to quietly pay over $4 million just to make someone disappear? The truth behind Kimberly Guilfoyle's abrupt exit reveals the darker underbelly of media power, just how quickly a towering career can collapse once the cameras stop rolling. But to understand the magnitude of the fall, you first need to see how far she had climbed. San Francisco, 1969. A young girl loses her mother to leukemia at age 11. That tragedy would become the fire that fueled her. For decades, Kimberly Guilfoyle wasn't born into wealth or privilege. She was forged in pain. That early loss taught her a brutal truth that everything you love can vanish in an instant. Her father, Irish immigrant and construction worker, and her Porto Rican mother had built a modest life in the Mission District. But when cancer took her mother, Kimberly's world cracked open. She learned that stability was an illusion, and that knowledge would shape every decision she made going forward. She turned fear into ambition, driving herself through law school while her peers were still figuring out who they wanted to become. The courtroom became her first stage. As a prosecutor in Los Angeles and later San Francisco, she developed a rare gift: the ability to make even the most complex legal cases feel deeply personal. She didn't just argue, she told stories juries couldn't ignore. And this is where most people get the story wrong. They assume her television career was a calculated, Pavita-savvy move from the courtroom to the spotlight. The truth is far less polished. In 2000, when she first appeared on camera as a legal analyst, she was simply trying to pay the bills. Her marriage to Gavin Newsom was unraveling. Legal career had stalled. She needed a new path. What no one expected was how natural she looked on screen. While most legal experts sounded like they were reading from textbooks, Kimberly spoke as if she were talking to a friend. She had a rare ability to translate courtroom jargon into everyday language. She did it with a confidence that made viewers instantly trust her. By 2004, Court TV had given her a regular slot, and just like that, she was no longer just a prosecutor. She was a media star. This wasn't polite legal commentary. This was television as bloodsport, and Kimberly Guilfoyle was a natural-born gladiator. She could argue either side of a case with unwavering passion, a skill that would later serve her well in the increasingly partisan wars of cable news. But it was Fox News that truly changed everything. When they called in 2006, Kimberly saw a chance to step onto the national stage. And her rise was meteoric. Within 5 years, she had secured one of the most coveted roles in conservative media: seat on the 5. The format was tailor-made for her style, sharp, aggressive, and unfiltered. She wasn't just offering legal insights anymore. She was diving headfirst into heated political debates, delivering commentary on everything from international diplomacy to hot-button cultural flashpoints. By the mid-2010s, Kimberly Guilfoyle had achieved what most television personalities only dream of. She had become indispensable. Her salary reflected that status: 7 figures, the kind of money that comes with both major influence and immense expectations. Kimberly was no longer just a Fox News host. She had become a brand. But television success is a double-edged sword. The higher your profile, the more intense the scrutiny. And someone very close to Kimberly was watching with the power to change everything. July 2018 began like any other month for Kimberly Guilfoyle. She was still co-hosting The 5, commanding millions of viewers, respected by colleagues, and feared by critics. Then, suddenly, everything changed. Fox News released a statement, just one sentence announcing that they had parted ways with her. No tribute, no farewell segment, no acknowledgement of over a decade of service. It was as if she had never existed. For someone who had helped build the network's afternoon programming into a ratings juggernaut, the silence was deafening. If you've followed media long enough, you know this is not how high-profile exits usually go. When Bill O'Reilly left in disgrace, he still received headlines, analysis, and public statements. When Megyn Kelly departed for NBC, it was a media circus. But Kimberly, she simply vanished. No thanks, no send-off, just a sterile corporate press release that read like a termination notice. The official narrative. Kimberly was leaving television to pursue a role in politics, specifically to work on President Trump's 2020 campaign. On the surface, it seemed plausible. She had political ties, Republican connections, and a knack for public speaking. But the deeper you looked, the more the story didn't hold up. First, the timing was strange. July 2018 was over 2 years before the 2020 election, far earlier than major campaign staffing typically begins. Second, the process was unusual. Fox News personalities at her level don't just disappear overnight without fanfare. Third, the precedent was telling. Fox had fought hard to retain far less valuable talent in the past. Oh, why so eager to let Guilfoyle go? Whispers began circulating. Insiders hinted at internal problems, HR issues, and management concerns. But the most telling sign was Kimberly herself suddenly silent. A woman known for her outspoken persona barely addressed her departure. Her once vibrant social media presence became generic and infrequent. Her public statements were careful, guarded, and then almost overnight, she re-emerged not on TV, but on the campaign trail. Within weeks, she was at Trump rallies, raising money and aggressively promoting Republican candidates. It felt less like a career move and more like a calculated distraction, as if moving fast enough might keep the truth buried. Meanwhile, Fox News moved on with surgical precision. The five continued without pause. There were no tributes, no acknowledgments. Loyal viewers were left confused. One day she was there, the next she was erased. But behind closed doors, corporate offices and legal departments, a very different story was being written. For 2 years, the truth remained hidden, buried beneath NDAs, legal settlements, and silence. Then, in October 2020, The New Yorker dropped the bombshell. An investigative report revealed that Kimberly Guilfoyle had been the subject of a confidential, 42-page complaint filed by a young assistant in November 2018, months after her departure. The timing was critical. It proved that while Fox News publicly claimed her exit was voluntary, they had been internally dealing with serious and disturbing allegations. According to the report, the assistant who had accepted what seemed like a dream job described instead a nightmare. The complaint detailed systematic workplace abuse that extended far beyond professional misconduct. It painted a disturbing picture of a powerful figure who weaponized her position to intimidate, humiliate, and dominate. Among the allegations, Guilfoyle frequently required the assistant to work at her New York apartment, where she would allegedly expose herself. She showed the assistant nude photographs of men she had been involved with on purpose, not by accident. She reportedly demanded that the assistant listen to graphic, personal stories unrelated to work. Using her power to control conversations and boundaries, physical contact was allegedly demanded. The assistant was pressured to share hotel rooms on business trips, depriving her of privacy. Perhaps most disturbingly, Guilfoyle allegedly encouraged her to sleep with wealthy and influential men, suggesting it could advance her career. This wasn't about a toxic boss. These allegations described a systematic pattern of exploitation and psychological manipulation. And what made it worse? The assistant didn't just endure this quietly. She tried to report it only to find herself navigating a system designed to protect stars, not victims. She didn't want to ruin anyone's career. She just wanted to do her job. When Kimberly Guilfoyle's assistant first encountered the alleged misconduct, she tried to resolve it quietly. She approached the situation informally, hoping a direct conversation could fix things. Her goal wasn't retribution. It was simply to be treated with the dignity every employee deserves. But when informal efforts failed, she turned to the system. She reported her concerns to Fox News' Human Resources Department, expecting a professional response. Instead, things allegedly got worse. According to The New Yorker, As the assistant prepared to take formal legal action, Guilfoyle allegedly tried to interfere, attempting to pay her off and keep details from reaching the lawyers Fox News had brought in. The company, sensing the gravity of the claims, hired an outside law firm with expertise in workplace harassment to lead a months-long investigation. All of this played out behind closed doors, hidden from the public eye. On the surface, Fox News maintained the fiction that Guilfoyle's departure was voluntary. Behind the scenes, the truth was far more troubling. The result of that investigation was not only a private reckoning, but a massive financial payout. According to multiple reports, Fox News paid the assistant over $4 million to settle the matter too. Put that figure in perspective, it's more than most Americans will earn over a lifetime. Paid out to silence a single workplace complaint. This wasn't hush money for a nuisance lawsuit. It was the kind of payout that signals panic liability and desire to make something disappear forever. Strict confidentiality agreements ensured that the assistant could never publicly share her story about the allegations, the process, or the outcome. But the size of the settlement raised urgent, uncomfortable questions. Why would Fox News pay such a staggering sum if the claims weren't credible? What did the executives believe had really happened behind closed doors? While all this unfolded, in secret, Kimberly Guilfoyle was reinventing herself in the political arena. Her move to the Trump 2020 campaign wasn't just strategic, it was personal. She was dating Donald Trump Jr., which gave her direct access to the upper echelons of Republican power and a new platform that rivaled her previous one in reach and influence. But something was different. For a woman known for her bluntness, for charging headfirst into controversy, Kimberly became conspicuously silent about one thing: her departure from Fox News at rallies. In interviews on panels, she would talk about almost anything. But when asked about her exit, her answers were short, scripted, and vague. She cited new opportunities, a desire to make a difference, excitement about the campaign. But she never explained the timing, never addressed the lack of farewell, never confronted the abruptness of it all. Her silence was telling. It allowed her to reshape her public narrative, protect her standing in Republican circles, and perhaps most crucially it protected Fox News. Despite paying millions to resolve the assistant's complaint, the network avoided scandal, headlines, and reputational damage. The Five remained a ratings powerhouse. No official reckoning ever came. For the assistant, the financial settlement brought security, but also permanent silence. Story which involved serious allegations of workplace abuse was locked away by legal documents and corporate muscle. When the New Yorker broke the story in 2020, it didn't just expose the alleged misconduct, it revealed the extraordinary lengths powerful institutions will go to in order to protect their brand, silence whistleblowers, and shield public figures from accountability. Guilfoyle's representatives issued strong denials, and she publicly stated that she had never engaged in workplace misconduct. Even as the story gained traction, she never addressed the details. She didn't explain the photos, the accusations of nudity, the allegations of coercion, or why Fox News would pay millions to settle claims she insisted were false. Instead, she carried on. She became a central figure in Trump world headlining rallies, raising millions for Republican candidates, appearing on conservative media, and presenting herself as a resilient warrior of the right. And for a while it worked. The scandal faded from headlines. Her new role gave her fresh relevance, but the cost wasn't just financial or reputational. It was deeply personal. At 55, in a rare and unguarded moment, Kimberly made a quiet but powerful admission. Speaking candidly off script and without spin, she acknowledged what the media world, political insiders, and even her critics have long suspected. The scandal ruined me, she said. For someone who had built her entire brand on strength, control, and unwavering confidence, those words landed like a confession. There was no firebrand on stage, no polished political surrogate, just a woman coming to terms with the reality that her entire career had been wiped away in days. No defense, no closure, just erasure. 20 years of building trust with audiences, of courtroom arguments, legal analysis, cable news segments, public service gone, replaced by a single scandal. Whether the allegations were true or not, they had come to define her, and that was the point she drove home. People don't forget, but they never do. Every introduction, every profile, every article-ite. One comes with an asterisk, despite her past troubles, once at the center of a scandal. Former Fox News host who left under mysterious circumstances. No matter how high she climbed in politics, no matter how many dollars she raised, the shadow followed. And though she continued to project success on the outside, that quiet admission revealed what all the campaign rallies, speeches, and smiling photos couldn't hide. The real damage wasn't to her career. It was to her identity, and some scars, no matter how well concealed, never truly fade. She spoke about what it felt like to go from being someone people admired, someone whose name carried weight and respect to, someone whispered about in hallways and headlines. It wasn't just the loss of a job, it was the loss of an identity. When you've built your entire sense of self around achievement, around competence, visibility, and professional worth, having it all stripped away changes everything. She described giving Fox News everything: her time, her creativity, her loyalty. She helped build programming that drew millions, shaped editorial direction, drove ratings, and made the network millions. And then the moment she became inconvenient, the moment allegations surfaced, she was gone. No farewell. No chance to explain. No opportunity to defend herself. Just silence. The bitterness was unmistakable. It had lingered, buried beneath years of campaign speeches and public reinvention. Despite finding new purpose, new love, and a new public identity, the shadow of her Fox News departure never truly lifted. But perhaps the most revealing part of her reflection wasn't about her personal experience. It was what it exposed about power in the media industry. For all her influence, her high-profile status, and seven-figure salary, she realized just how fragile it all was. That everything, her reputation, her platform, her career, could vanish overnight based on allegations that would never be proven or disproven in any courtroom. That power, she learned, was conditional, and the silence, that had been the most devastating part. It followed her everywhere, through every interview, every campaign stop, every social media post. You can't truly move forward when part of you is always looking back, always wondering what people believe, what they've heard, what they assume. Her admission exposed the impossible calculus scandal demands from public figures. Deny too aggressively, and you seem guilty. Stay silent. People fill in the blanks. Try to move on, and you're accused of avoiding accountability. There's no winning move. No clean path to redemption. Only damage control. She acknowledged that she had, in many ways, rebuilt her life. She found new purpose. She remained influential. She became a central figure in a different arena. But she also admitted a hard truth. She was not tanned, could never be the same person. She was before it all unraveled. Part of me died in that silence, she said. And no amount of success since had brought that part back. Her story poses a haunting question, one that echoes far beyond her personal circumstances. If a single moment, single allegation, a single executive decision can erase everything you've spent a lifetime building, how do you fight to reclaim your name? Do you prove a negative? How do you defend yourself against a whisper campaign no one will ever confirm or deny? It's a question that cuts to the heart of our times, where scandals move faster than facts, where social media amplifies accusations before any due process begins, and where the court of public opinion often delivers its verdict before any evidence is seen. The mathematics of modern scandal are brutal. Decades of work undone in days. Today, Kimberly Guilfoyle remains a prominent Republican figure on stage, on camera, raising money, shaping policy, but she's also indelibly marked by the controversy that ended her television career. The assistant who brought forward the complaint receives significant financial compensation but remains bound by strict confidentiality. She may never publicly share her side of the story. In Fox News, they moved on. No public reckoning. No accountability. No acknowledgement of what their silence cost. In the end, the most important takeaway may not be about guilt or innocence. It may not even be about Kimberly Guilfoyle herself. The real lesson is about power, how it's used, how it's protected, and what it costs to maintain it. It's about the price of silence in an industry built on a promise to tell the truth.